Well, hello, creatives, community, and kind folks. Welcome to RPG with DBJ. And yes, I cut my intro in half because we're going to visit Bytopia. Yes, it is one of the planes of existence in the Planescape setting. And we're going to visit Bytopia and the gate town known as TRADEGATE. And I'm going to be repeating Bytopia many, many times because I understand simply by virtue of the name of this plane of existence, which existed long before the uh, socio political machinations that we have in our current society. Um, the many words and their descriptions and their meanings and their histories have existed long before people had issues with it. So I'm going to be saying Bytopia plenty of times. It is spelled Bytopia, and it represents yeah, let's give thanks for the upper planes. Yes, this show is also airing on here in the States. It is Thanksgiving. And so I don't really want to take any much of anyone's time if they are here live. Thank you, Shy Squad, for putting in the very words that I will not be able to pronounce because I can't speak that language. But I hope it's very nice and you're not giving a finger to anyone else out there. Yes, yep. Shiesty said, "What was it called in the old days? The Twin Paradises?" Technically, it still is. So, uh, what is Bytopia? You ask. Well, I'm glad you did. No, no. Honestly, Bytopia is the plane of existence between the planes of lawful good and neutral good, and just as it has split the planes of lawful good and neutral good in half and exists between them, it, as a plane of existence, is two planes, one on top of each other. As a matter of fact, the way it's described, when you arrive on Bytopia, there are two realms. 99% of the time, you will arrive on Dothion, and if you look up above you in the sky, you will see, as if you are literally hanging upside down, or really there's another plane of existence above you, the twin paradises, uh, known as the twin paradises or the twin paradises of Bytopia, you'll see another land called Shurok. And if you look up at Shurok, you're looking literally down on mountaintops and fields and rivers and such. And though it doesn't necessarily describe it as being a mirror image, which it technically isn't, um, there are all the same landmarks. So you know what a river looks like, or a desert, or a forest, or whatnot, and those things are above you. As a matter of fact, it's been described between 10 to 20 miles distance, that if you were to rise above, maybe fly or float, that at the middle mark, gravity would turn around and you'd fall up into the sky, and that there is a artificial light that illuminates the plane in the middle realm, so that it it during the daylight, everything can be seen, even though you don't know where the sunlight is coming from. You don't know where the light is coming from, not necessarily the sun, but in the evenings it looks like stars above you, but they're really not stars. They are um, fires, campfires, and lights, and reflections and illuminations that happen in the evening. Just as the people who are visiting or live in Shurok look down on Dothion and see the exact same thing during the evening. Yes, over my shoulder, that is a Christmas tree. It is the wife and I just got it out. It literally is filled with ornaments of every place, all the things that we've ever done together. And so our tree is built upon our experiences. So everywhere we go and everything we do, we try to find an ornament or make one, like a keychain if they don't have actual Christmas ornaments, and we place them on our tree. And oh, there's like 8 strings of lights on there too. Anyway, so let's get back to Bytopia. So what is the plane of Bytopia, or rather, more specifically, because it's a plane divided between lawful good and neutral good, what is it like? Like, if you were to visit this place, what is it like? What are the rules? Well, other than the fact that let's see if I can. I'm going to share the image out of Bytopia here, um, and it kind of gives you the idea, much like the only thing I can think of is the movie. There's actually two movies based on this, but anyway, there's a movie. Uh, Inception, where they go into a dreamscape, and in the movie Inception, we see one of the characters bends reality in the dreamscape and makes the streets curve over top of them until the buildings are above their head. There's also a um, not necessarily low budget movie, but it was a low impact movie about two individuals that fell in love with each other, two young people, and they each live in a world where if they look up in the sky, they can see the other person. I don't know the name of the movie, but I'm sure someone out there can find it. So that's what the physical nature of it. But what is the alignment nature of this world? Well, the alignment nature is described as um, uh, the twin paradises of Bytopia is a plane of hard and honest work of people who believe in organizations only when it's needed and providing good deeds to others. Though the concept of charity is foreign to many who reside here, the plane is best known for its two layers, Dothian and Shurak. So it's known for hard work, but charity is unseen. So what does that mean? It basically means that if you're willing to work hard, you can reap the rewards of your hard work. And so you're not going to find many people here who are going to give you things for free, but as long as you're willing to trade um, something of value, and what's known as of value here is hard work, you'll probably receive what you get. So if you visit, whether you see travelers or you come to many of the industrious towns that exist on Dothian or the upper layer of Shurak that hangs above this plane of existence, if you find people here, they may be a little suspicious, but if you're willing to work with them, and there's a good chance there's always work that needs to be done, that if you're willing to work and give a good fair's sweat equity, you will get what you want, whether that desire is a map or a guide or a magic item or some bit of knowledge or heck, just ability to get out of this place or find your way around this location. That's it. Now, Dothian, the plane that normally characters will arrive at, I'm assuming it's closer related to lawful good. The weather's nicer, it's more peaceful, so its hottest and coldest days are never truly uncomfortable. So it does snow, it does rain, it does get hot, but it is of mild consequence. If it snows, it goes away very quickly. If it's very hot, it's just enough to find some shelter for just a short amount of time to take a little rest, and then you can move on. It's never, while it has all four seasons, it's never harsh. But that can't be said for Shurak, which is above. Shurak is far more dangerous. The weather goes in far more extremes, and even the animals that are far more intelligent on Dothian are huge and bestial on Shurak. And Shurak is a place of most of your dire animals, giant animals, and such. And surviving there is much harsher. But it is also the place where the hardest work must be done to um, to extract resources that are needed. Very many gnomes and dwarves and elves live on this plane of existence, and they all work together to the dwarves um, exercise, get all the raw materials. The elves are the ones who do hard work in terms of making those raw materials look very beautiful. And the gnomes are the industrious ones that are brilliant in turning those things into strange machines and strange magics and things of that nature. And then they all happen to work together to achieve a particular goal, whether that's making these strange balloons that are able to go and flip upside down that go from one realm to another or something like that. And as a matter of fact, the gate town that exists in concordant opposition, the plane of neutrality, is known as TRADEGATE. And TRADEGATE, the gate town, is a place where, well, like the name says, there's plenty of trade. As a matter of fact, the trade town is shaped like a star with a sided um, five-sided pentagram in the middle where all the trade takes place, and then where people live and a lot of the industry takes place is in the 5 points of the star. And the literal ground, let's see if I could show this here. Let's see. Let's see. Stop sharing this. Yes, she says, by the way, can you walk right up the mountain and end up on the second layer of Bytopia? Yes, as long as you hold on, because once gravity shifts, you'll actually start falling down the other side of the mountain. As a matter of fact, there are mountains that are okay. I don't know what a stalagmite and stalactite that attaches together is, but there are mountain ranges that where the tip of one mountain touches the other tip of the other mountain, and you can actually walk up a mountain and then flip over and then slide back down the other side. And supposedly there are some industrious people that actually form steps where halfway up the steps shift around. This is shit. Uh, yeah, I have too much light. But anyway, this is a trade gate. If you take a look at the picture, the ground itself is purple and gold, and it's literally a checkered patterned floor or ground that trade gate is on. And that individual in the middle there, um, that's your gatekeeper. So in many of the gate towns, there's a gate to go to the actual planes of existence. Sometimes the gate to get there is a living creature. This person is that living person, and this creature, this multi-horned centaurian-like being, makes a trade with anyone and everything. And this individual, who is a avatar-like, um, knows everything about you in terms of your value. So all the cash and all the treasure you have, this creature knows how much you have, and including the knowledge that you have. As described, the many-horned, known as a barrier, the many-horned barrier knows everything an interested traveler owns down to the last coin, including abstract holdings and objects of sentimental value, such as memories, keepsakes, and songs. The trade master's price is high but fair, tailored to the individual's wealth. Those who attempt to swindle the trade master or threaten their way into Bytopia might be banished to some remote plane with a stamp on the barrier's hoof. Right? So you want to get to the Bytopia, you got to deal with this individual, and the price is whatever you can afford. That is usually not fair, extravagant. It is a realm of lawful good and neutral good, but it is something that you can keep. Yeah. Hey, Drew's like, yeah, gatekeeper. No, I don't want that in my gaming. Yes, gotta have the gatekeeping. Oh, did I say Bytopia again? I hope it rubs people. I don't know. I'm just having fun. I hope it rubs people the wrong way. Um, to be honest, when I first heard Bytopia, I was like, oh, and then when I read it, I was like, oh, I was a little disappointed. But who's to say? Anyway, Bytopia also, um, it seems like it's made of two parts, and so it is described as kind of being of two parts, meaning like on one hand, there's very good people here. They're the people, like I said, they're hardworking, but there's no charity. So on one hand, they're very, very like, hey, we're willing to embrace you and accept you. We've got work to do. If just come along with us, we're going to do our thing. And as long as you're willing to work with them and you don't balk at that thing, then they flip over and go, okay, fine. Now you're accepted into us. Well, let's shake hands and let's relax. And when we relax, we can talk. Yeah, I wonder what they call Bytopia in 5e. It's still this is okay. Let's see if I can. So this is the current fifth edition version of the book. I've got the second editions over on the shelf as well. They do call the plane Bytopia, or actually they call it the Twin Paradises of Bytopia. So yeah, they still call it that. Um, and mind you, it's like I said, the realm of Bytopia has existed long before this Planescape stopped calling it or referring to it specifically as Twin Paradises, start calling it Bytopia back in second edition. So everybody relax. Um, Now, what I like about this is that what players could do is that it's a very easy mission oriented place, right? Players come here, they need something, and pretty much the moment they arrive, if the players are cordial, they're going to be approached and they're going to be asked to do something. And it's going to be sweat equity. It's going to be something, yes, the sweat equity might be murder, killing, other things, but it could also be how do the players and this is why I love Planescape, because Planescape, at least the way the planes are described, there's a lot of problems that the players will have to solve, and you can't solve them by murder, killing everything. So in this part, how will the players react when basically out of world strangers are going to ask them to work building things, constructing things, um, um, digging for things, an excellent time for crafting if players are craft oriented, meaning like they may have raw silver. Can they make jewelry out of it? They may have raw lumber. Will they make furniture out of it? It could be saving people from a collapsed mine or great monsters that are attacking people in the fields of Shurok that are above them. And so the players might have to go, okay, so how do we go 10 to 20 miles above us, knowing that gravity is going to flip and we'll end up halfway through, we're going to fall, arrive there, save the people in the orchards, defeat the ankhegs, because we love ourselves some classic ankhegs, big insectoids that always like come out the ground and spit acid at farmers and stuff. And then at the end of that, do they then receive the thing they're going after, right? Yeah, Shai says, how about the mission is this? After you find a MacGuffin, you have to resist the temptation to stay forever. That's one of the problems with, and I think that rubs us the wrong way about the upper planes, is that the upper planes exist in a way that makes you want to stay. And despite in a, okay, so we talked about the planes of neutral good and lawful good before, about planes of perfection, Arcadia, a plane of perfect perfection, and everything looks good. And we're like, oh, there's no way things can be perfect until you get there. And then you go, wow, I feel perfect. I look perfect. I'm great and healthy. The food tastes great. The sunlight is awesome. There's a reason why you cannot resurrect characters from either because they are being held, or you cannot resurrect a character if they don't want to leave if they've passed away and died. And a lot of the people that go to the upper planes don't want to leave for good reason too. Much of it is safer. You have a greater opportunity to become a greater version of yourself in the upper planes, and more likely than not, you're going to find many more people who are like-minded like you and less likely to backstab you like in real life. And you'll find more friendships that way because everyone there has a combined a shared experience, if not directly, then morally and ethically. And that's awesome. Yeah, Shai says, but what would a good evil mission for Bytopia be? Simply go undetected? How easy is it for the inhabitants of Bytopia to murder kill you if they find out you're evil? Well, see, that's the problem. Like in TradeGate and other places, it's patrolled pretty heavily by like the goodest of the good Celestials. I don't know whether this is true, but think I feel like there's at least 10%, if not less, one good aligned celestial being for every 10 to 100 evil ones. I don't know that for certain, but just looking through monster manuals and things, it seems like there's a lot less good creatures, and then they number less when gathered together. So I would suspect that if the player characters are evil and they're trying to circumvent the good planes, that the minute they're detected, they better hustle ass, because the good people there will just like, oh, have a good day, and then they'll alert the first archon, or was it archons, devas, planars, and solars, and what are the other things like food creatures and Chiron, unicorns, and then good aligned NPCs. Uh, yeah, they'll be coming after you. They'll be questioning everybody, and everyone's just going pointing their fingers like they went that way, right? So yeah, but it would be pretty interesting to be an evil character to have to sneak into the good planes. Maybe give them the option to have like one use magic items or something that could hide their identity for a short amount of time. Yeah. What I heathens is I tend to think monetary exchange is boring. So I wonder, does the gatekeeper ask only a monetary price? Do they ask for tasks, objects, songs, jokes, a person's memory of a loved one? You're absolutely right. No, literally, it does say that objects of sentimental value, memories, keepsakes, and songs. And um, I would feel like in Tradegate, the city of Tradegate, that they do have a coinage. They're called cobalt coins. They're like magnetic or something like that. But it would be pretty interesting for players to go to this to Tradegate, which is a place, which is a multiversal bazaar across the multiverse where you can find nearly anything, and to have to you come there with money and they go, oh no, I don't want gold coins, but I will take that memory of your favorite pet, and maybe your favorite pet's your familiar, and then you have to forget that you even had one, and that, you know what I mean, something like that would be pretty interesting. Ste- Steamed and keg. Check the late great Jeffrey MacArthur for the recipe. Yes, Jeffrey MacArthur, a also notable RPG, a tabletop role playing game pundit, a little politics here and there, some pop culture, and an old gray beard like myself. And but I didn't know he had I didn't know he had a recipe for ankeg. I hope the recipe involves removing the glands that spit the acid, unless it's a two-place acid, which there may be two glands that mix together to make it pretty harsh. But I don't know. Can the players haggle with the gatekeeper? Oh wow, I would say that you could probably haggle what is given, but you couldn't haggle the price that is necessary to pay. So what I mean is, um, in Gate Town, it is a place of lawful good and neutral good. So trading is always fair. There's always a fair price. But what that price is that you give might be something different. So you might be able to trade on a memory, or like you said, it could be like Heathen, you're mentioning, like, could it be a specific song or a joke or a task? The gatekeeper could say, I need you to climb to the highest peak, and they name the peak, and retrieve, I don't know, a griffin egg, and bring it back to me, and then I will gladly give you blah blah blah. And the player goes, well, all right, how about instead me and my friends go and get the egg, and then if we do that, could we still receive that? And the gatekeeper goes, no, you're receiving help, and I really feel like you could do this on your own. So instead, I will give you a partial map to where you need to go, but I will not give you the clues as to the dangers that are, like, I could see that happening. It would be a fair trade rather than deviousness involved in it. There is something. Every gate town has its issue, and one of the funny issues is that because TradeGate is filled with so many travelers that come across all the planes of existence to buy, sell, and trade their wares. They have little stalls set up all around to sell their things. Everyone that has a stall here is expected to act in their most lawful good and neutral good manner. So you can never have a stall here if you're chaotic evil, or you won't last very long if you are, because people will point you out that you're having unfair trade practices. So it won't be very long, maybe a few days to a week you might last until people realize that you're a thief and you get kicked out, and then the gatekeeper comes over and walks you through a gate, or maybe the gate moves past you and you disappear. The gate shifts right from behind you and then shoot, it sucks you out. So that would happen. But also they have a problem because they have a Zorn problem. So I think that's pretty silly. So, if for those who don't know, Zorns are from the elemental plane of Earth. Let's look up some Zorns. I should have done this before. Zorns. Um, so um, Zorns are a monster, and Zorns are elemental creatures that like to gobble up gemstones. It's basically one of your Gaxian creatures. Gaxian creatures are creatures that sometimes exist specifically to thwart players who are adventurers. And one of the easy ways to carry lots of wealth, back in the day when experience points were measured by the value you held. So if the gold piece value you held, you would spend that and you would get experience points from it. And these creatures ate gemstones because you could carry around a 10,000 gold piece gemstone without having to carry 10,000 gold pieces. That was before you got that bag of holding or portable hole. But the city of Tradegate has a Zorn problem because it starts sniffing out the gemstones. And so is this a picture of it's hard to see it, but yeah, there's a picture of this from the Forgotten Realms wiki. There's a picture of an adventurer running away, and the Zorn with its 3 legs and its arms and its mouth at the top of his head, and of course it's got eyes around the mouth. It's turning over a what is that called? A mining cart, and dumping the gemstones and ore and semi-precious things into its mouth. And so yeah, Zorns. It has 3 legs, 3 arms, 3 eyes around its top mouth, and pretty nasty. Pretty nasty. Probably fun. Ooh, there's a sexy picture of a Zorn and an Earth Elemental. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Slide against that mud, baby. I mean, sorry. Anyway, getting back to our co-host here. Let's see. If evil gets persecuted just for being that way, then the good is fascist, which is a form of bad too. But there we are again at alignment being useless. Yep, right. But that's the fun part, right? Player characters basically stomping around the multiverse, around the planescape, going, "Your alignment's useless, and your alignment's useless, and your." I mean, I don't know. Hey, who's to say that the Modrons didn't put the alignments in the great cosmic wheel on purpose the way they are done? Apparently, some sentient hand or ancient elder beings that don't exist any longer put them into this cosmic wheel of sorts. Nobody says they were right. It just was done, right? So it's a kill it or grill it. There's a place across the street from where I work. They call it the kill it and grill it. It's a breakfast, greasy spoon, good food. When I hear this, oh, that would be very cool. You can talk the price down, but you'd also be talking the reward down. Yes, I feel like the fairness would be you. There's an unhaggable price, but the reward and price would shift based on what you give. So if you bring your price down, what you get is brought down. Oh, hey, I have only got 6 gold pieces. Great. Well, I can give you 4 arrows instead of the 20, right? Uh, Man, he that says a lawful evil character might do well there if they cover their alignment. Says, but sir, the customer signed the contract. See both copies. Exactly. Yeah. I think if you are lawful and or good, you could probably get away with things here more than you think. Like a chaotic person might be forgiven for them disrupting the society, breaking the rules, because they're at least doing it for a good reason. Um, People robbing street vendors to feed a family, right? You didn't pay for that. You have to work for that. We're not going to give it to you for free. And then the person steals it and goes, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I really need to do this thing for these people." And then they go, "Well, you know what? If you work it off, then you're forgiven." and then that chaotic person says, yeah, I'll work it off, and then halfway through working it off, they run off and do something else, right? They're pulled off to the next mission, their next goal to help someone else out, right? So I could see nice people being forgiven for a short amount of time, much longer, and lawful evil people being able to circumvent the rules, especially if you're lawful evil and smart. Just before you're found out, you're probably zoop, I'm out of here, then come back later. Oh, yeah, nice. Yeah, we literally put it up last night, like into midnight. So it, technically, we should be putting it up after we eat our turkey. But yeah, whatever. Yeah, Shai says lawful good is fascist. Okay, here we go. That's the whole point of Planescape, highlighting the hilarity of law. And here's another problem. If you go to the lawful good place, you might like it, right? It's we're so good, we're going to make you good or else, and we're going to treat you good to be good because you deserve to have goodness whether you like it or not, right? Um, I mean, how fascist would it be for someone to heal you of a condition they think you have that you're perfectly fine with, right? Your height, your eyesight, your blemishes, things like that. No, it, no, I don't. We call it the kill it and grill it. It's not called the kill it or grill it. Yeah, we called it that. It was never. It wasn't taken from Jeffrey MacArthur. It just, and I didn't call it that when I first got here in Ohio in 2000s. People would talk out loud and go, "Hey, I'm getting an order from the Kill It and Grill It. Anybody want anything?" And it's a breakfast place across the street. So sometimes they take a back in the day they take, hey, everybody put together $5, $10 in the pot, and then the I'm about to call it a Kill It and Grill It again. The grill across the street would make breakfasts for people, and they would basically do, okay, here we're going to cook up some bacon, some sausage, some eggs, whatever, pancakes or something, and then they would just put them in bundles and bring them over, like a short term catering kind of thing. People would get together about $80 or something like that, whatever. Yeah, when I hear this, yeah, I can see lawful good people making a thief work off a debt, but even that can be taken in a lawful evil direction. Yeah, it, and like I said, forgiveness might let some of the lawful evil people get away with stuff, just like the chaotic good people. But at a certain point, lawful good doesn't mean lawful stupid. It just means um, lawful over fascist. Now, we've talked about this. So the Mount Celestia lawful good people are not. They don't externally promote their lawful and goodness. The Arcadians do, because they kind of sit between lawful neutral and lawful good, and they export their LG, not their LN and LG. Well, their LN and LG, right? So they export that. They are very like, they're like, we are going to export our goodness whether you like it or not. Yeah, Shy Squad, lawful good equals, and I'm going to purposely mispronounce this, carte blanche, to murder, kill anything that's evil. Yes. Second chances. A second chance is only if I missed the first swing, right? That's how they feel. They're just like, F that. Yeah. No, they're not necessarily. I think if you start to flow off a lawful good, then you start to spiral down the evil path, which is I was just reminiscing and watching Infinity War and how much Thanos is a great character, because Thanos was the hero of that movie. He was the protagonist. He was the hero in his own mind and his own story, doing horrific things. And of course, perspective wise, he goes, well, what's the death of half the trillions times of trillions of lives in the universe if I get to save the other half, right? So yeah, of course he didn't include himself in that concept, but whatever. But he did promise what he was going to do, and he did retire, knowing that the world would eventually see his goodness, and he retired to be a farmer. So yeah, I mean, Is Thanos a lawful good, an example of a lawful good being? I think that would be amazing to make a Thanos like Marvel character that is from the lawful good realm, and it's just like we're not doing enough. Yeah, yeah. What I Chai says, yeah. Here we go. Here we go. When I heathen says, I don't think lawful good as fascist, but I do think it is when it is taken to its eventual endpoint. Yes, reasonable lawful good. We agree to a rule where we trade dish duty and it's your turn. Play that game later. Exactly. Listen, we're all in this together. And let's be honest. Let me give you an example of people only bristle at things when they don't agree with it. When Yet we all live in a society where we surround ourselves with things we agree with. Let me give you a perfect example that really did happen. So, Monday, my wife and I went out to a restaurant. Um, it's called Texas Roadhouse. And we went out to this restaurant. Why? Well, recently there was a very fatal car crash with children that were visiting out of town. They were about an hour and a half northeast of us. They were on a highway and there was a major accident, got rear-ended, people died, the bus caught on fire, charter bus caught on fire. It was pretty horrible. Um, Students died, whatever. And Texas Roadhouse said, hey, we're going to do a fundraiser to raise money for the families of the people that died. Okay, is it? I mean, prayers and answers and things like that. Money, is it a good replacement? No, but we're going to do this anyway. So what did we do? We and so many other people, because there was a wait of about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. Wife and I got in a queue, and the place was packed to the gills. Couldn't find a parking spot, whatever. And there was not an angry face in the crowd who was waiting to be seated. We sat in our car. People were outside in the parking lot talking and things like that. Why? Because we knew this place was raising money. 100% of the proceeds would help them. We all lawfully got together without problems, got in our queue, stood in our lines, whatever, right? We ate and partook of the food. We gave our money knowing what it was like. Wife and I even said, oh, if we buy gift cards, will that even add more money to the pot? Said yes. We bought gift cards. We used the gift cards for gifts. That add more money to the pot. So that is a good thing being done, right? So we only think that lawful good is fascist when we are told we're doing something we don't agree with, or we have something inside us that says, I don't want to be told what to do. I want to choose to do the good thing. And some people just bristle at being told what to do, whether it's for their own good or not, like wearing seatbelts or helmets or not over drinking or things like that. You know, so this is when I was a kid. It was like when I was a kid, I really thought that like it's okay to kill those goblin people because they're evil. So it's your duty to kill them. Younglings too. So it totally fits to be a murder hobo, right? And there's some people who really are like pissed off about that too. Like, I don't know why people want to tell me I can't kill the kids, and you're just like, oh. You be you. I can't police how you do your fantasy, but why are you upset at everybody else who doesn't want to kill goblin children and goblin pregnant women because they're evil, right? It's like I get how you want to play, but I don't understand why someone would be upset unless they just don't like being told what to do, or they don't like their cheese being moved. You know, fascist lawful good. I don't care if you have to go to the hospital. It's your night to do dishes. No, it isn't. That's not it. That's not it. It's they're not going to be mad at you that you have to do to the hospital. It's going to be when you leave the hospital, the 5 days you spend in the hospital, you got 5 days of extra dishwashing to do. James Bond was held up as an example of lawful neutral. Doesn't mean he won't kill you in cold blood, though. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, yes. Lawful does not mean kind. That is true. Well, the goodness does mean kind, but it depends on your definition of kindness, right? Um, the Bytopia resting between lawful good and neutral good expects that you're not going to get goodness just because you deserve it. You're going to get it after you prove why you deserve it, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean in battle, but it's like you got to work for it to get it. You're going to get it, and it's sitting right here, but you better sweat for it first. When I Heathen says, yes, it means consistent with rules. The rules don't even have to be sensible. That's where the good comes in. What good is becomes another discussion. Exactly. And listen, there could be some, we always know that um, there's exceptions to every rule, but in Planescape, there probably aren't too many exceptions to the rule. So I could see where the problem in the fascismisms come in. Where the rules exist because they have to exist, and there is no changing the rules. And if you try to change it, you can't fit into the society. So I don't know. Be lawful good and donate to Russian draft dodging punk rockers in Georgia and can never go home again. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yep, it's a real life thing. Shai says, I seriously thought it was a game mechanic. The lawful Oh, yes, the lawful kills chaotic evil thing. I thought it was their justification to rationalize away everything and legitimize a hack. You know what? I didn't really think it that way, but I did think it was hard coded. Like a chaotic evil monster is always chaotic evil forever and always. Now, mythologically, that has been the case. Like there are evil spirits or evil fae or evil monsters that are evil because they were created evil. End of story. Um, the friction comes in that you can't have free choice and free will and then also only be evil ever always. Amen. Right? Meaning like um you can't pick kobold and goblin and hobgoblin and orc and bugbear as a character choice and let players make any kind of combinations they want of alignment and personality and be just as free as any of the other humanoid races, and then at the exact same time go, oh well, orcs are in the monster manual so they're all evil, right? It just doesn't. You got to pick one, you got to pick a side, right? Yeah, but their offspring will also be evil, so it's my duty. Yep, lawful stupid, right? Got to kill the kids because the kids are going to grow up to be evil. Yeah, it's like, well, that's murder hoboing. That's where that comes from, right? Yeah, when I hear this is once a friend of mine played a lawful neutral samurai quite well. He was a classist and had no qualms about killing if honor demanded it, but he was never just mean or rude in character, strictly polite. And the game, we should do a kind of a deep dive into it. Um, the game Legend of Five Rings. Let's see if I can find it and find some pictures of it. Uh, Legend of the Five Rings. And let's see, am I sharing it? Yep. So there's a role playing game called Legend of Five Rings, and it is completely centered around being a samurai, and they have these samurai clans, and the clans are all based after um, real world and mythological monsters. So there's like the crab clan. So the clans are like, actually, let me find them out. Let's see. Uh, Clans of Legend. Let's see. What are the clans? Okay, so it takes place in a place, fictional Japan, known as Rokugan, and Rokugan is a role playing. The role playing game Legend of Five Rings has a meta history to it. So as the game has aged, so has the storyline of Rokugan. And it all involves the machinations of all the clans. So they've got crab, crane, dragon, lion, mantis, phoenix, scorpion, unicorn, and spider. And then there are some clans that have disappeared and some that have come about, like minor clans such as badger, bat, dragonfly, fox, hare, monkey, sparrow, tortoise, oriole, and many others. Some that have disappeared, some that have come back. And each of those clans when you participate in the game, um, there's a numerical value that fluctuates between how your honor, your willpower, your politeness, your battle um, prowess, your ability to have duels, and all kinds of things. And it's pretty funny because in the game, you're constantly being challenged. Um, is that when I hear, oh, now, yeah, Legends of Firing has some deep lore. Oh, yes, yes, it does. They need an eel clan. Yeah. No, you're fine. You're fine, Heathen. You're, dude. Don't worry, you worry about. Just Shay says, I was such a noob. It never even occurred to me that you could play orcs or goblins as NPCs, people you can talk to, until I started watching Woodwide and I thought they were just jobbers. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You thought they were just like, oh, they're just things for me to kill. I didn't realize that. Yeah, yeah. Drew says Spider got introduced late under AEG and are removed from the Fantasy Grounds version. Where am I on? What did it say about Spider Clan? Yep. Spider Clan only after its ascension to the major clan status. And like I said, the meta storylines of Legend of Five Rings has, I don't know if they still do this, but I remember that it was legendary that in once a year during their convention series, they would keep track of the there was a card game and the role playing game, and they would keep track of changes in it that of people who participated in the conventions, and then change the story based on the information from the conventions and write that into the books. Wild stuff. There's a lot, that would be a hell of a hard time to keep track of, but pretty legendary to do it. If you could really make it a living realm, it's kind of cool. But like Planescape, um, Legend of Five Rings does deal a lot with, like, it's not just what you do, but how you do it. And sometimes it could be based on it's the push and pull of, do I do the right thing, of or do I do the noble thing? Do I do the honest thing? That sort of thing. The story of the 47 Ronin is based on that. Do I, as a noble samurai, who is devoted to my lord and shogun or whatever, daimyo, and order me to kill innocent people, do I do that because I made an oath, or do I break my oath to defend the people that are being hurt by this domineering warlord? Either way, it's both a wrong choice and a right choice. And so, yeah. Yes, Drew. Yes, thank you, Drew. Drew says, yeah, L5R lore was very much shaped by card tournament outcomes. Very cool game. Very cool. I could never keep up with the lore, or the living lore, but the base lore, the clans and how the game is operated. I still love that. You're so funny. Yeah, Fantasy Flight Games missed an F there. Fantasy Flight Games, yes, but but well, one could say I did not give an F. So silly. I love it. I love it. Yes, L5R is all about the samurai drama of being stuck in terrible dilemmas. Which let's talk holistically about this, right? There's something cool to me about being stuck in terrible dilemmas. It's not about making the right choice; it's about making the least wrong choice. And those of us that love survivalistic games like A Call of Cthulhu, survival and horror, survivalistic, psychological survival. There's physical survival games like post-apocalyptic games where the reward is not magic items and more power. The reward is, oh, I get to eat one stale can of stale dog food, and I've got some dirty water that I was able to drain from something, and oh, maybe a half a liter of guzzling I can put in my vehicle to maybe one day travel an indeterminate distance to hopefully survive again, right? Post-apocalyptic worlds, and L5R technically, in my head canon, is a survivalistic game. It is a game in which, like L5R and Samurai, like many Viking styled games where you're constantly being put in a state of not making the right choice, but just making the best wrong choice you can given the circumstances at that time. And sometimes the best right choice gives you short-term success rather than the worst wrong choice, which gives you long-term survival. And so yeah, so it can be pretty hard. Um, as a matter of fact, yeah, it's fun because you can get put in a situation where there's no violence, and the only way to end the only way for your character to get out of the thing is to commit seppuku, right? Like ritual suicide. It's like, oh no, I'm stuck. Oh man. Drew says I had run L5R for many years since I could do the tragic experience I was looking for better than with the World of Darkness. Yeah, World of Darkness really dropped the ball on holding tight to the thing it really created in the role playing world, and that was the tragic experience. Like you mentioning, tragic experience is maybe another way of describing survival games in the sense of it's not making the best choice all the time for success and moving forward. It's just really making the best bad choice you can right now. Very noir, right? Very much like a sense of I hate to call it a death spiral, but it kind of is in many of these games. And some it's weird to say it's fun, but it's like playing Jenga, which is why the game Dread is so popular. The Jenga tower. Where's my Jenga tower? I can't reach it. I can't reach it very easily. But yeah, it's like playing Jenga. It's like there is no outcome but the tower to fall. Right? It's just when and who. Is off-topic question for another server I'm in. Are there any RPGs set in ancient Egypt outside of the World Darkness Mummy games? I know GURPS has an AE manual, but I want a system more easy for newbies to jump into. Not newbies, but I do have some. The first one that comes to mind is Encore, but it's another D12 system, and I have a review of it, but it's not the easiest thing for newbies. I would pick a rules light system and just reflavor it if I had to. Although if there's any role players out there in Egypt and you guys know of any that have an Egyptian based role playing game for people that live in Egypt, I'd love to have it. Do y'all have to work on Good Friday? Yes. I work for the government, and so we have what are known as political holidays. So it's like they're all named after political events. So like Memorial Day, the only two that we have off. Christmas is one that is not technically a political holiday, but we do have that off, and New Year's. But other than that, everything is technically a political holiday, including like um, what's Thanksgiving. Technically, air quotes, technically is a political holiday in the truest sense. So yeah, tomorrow is Black Friday, the worst of all Fridays, not Good Friday. Yeah. Drew says vicious cycle, not necessarily a death spiral. Yes, yes. Blades in the Dark actually fits into that category, to be honest with you, Drew. Because Blades in the Dark is you're playing a group of ne'er do wells, miscreants, right? And you are surviving in a enclosed space of crabs in a barrel trying to get to the top. And the higher you go or try to go up the ladder, the more conflict and side effects and permutations and unwanted uh, offenses you're going to make against other gangs, which may team up to take you down. So yes, it is a vicious cycle, I suppose, rather than a death spiral. Thank you very much for that. Yes, I'll watch your review. Thank you. How old is it? How old's the game? I don't know. I am uncertain. Let's see. Encore TTRPG. Encore Kingdom of the Gods 2017. It came out. Sci-fi tabletop role-playing game based largely on ancient Sumerian mythology. The game takes place on Earth just after the Great Flood, some 25,000 years in the past. A species of alien beings from the planet Nibiru in the farthest reaches of our own solar system, basically Planet X or Planet 10, can't come to Earth to mine gold for the production of mana. Through genetic manipulation, they create a variety of humanoid slaves to mine the gold. Angkor, Kingdom of the Gods. And there's other, you don't have to look at my review. I mean, there's other things out there. Shice is just wondering, I have to work every single day anyway, but would you like to do a double session some Friday, really in depth on Obsidian Star to bring more people in? Maybe. Yeah, and Heathen says, really want to try out Blades in the Dark. You won't be disappointed with Blades in the Dark. It is probably, hands down, one of the best building block games that exists on the market. Meaning, like, if you were to take that game and never play it, but take the building blocks to use for other games, you would be amazed. So it has many building blocks put together in a game. Some role-playing games are brilliant. L5R is a good example. We're talking about that. Call of Cthulhu, and those games are excellent, but it's very difficult to dismantle them to use other places. Blades in the Dark is very hyper-specific on what it does, but its mechanisms are universal. So that's why so many people bring it up. And yeah, maybe I might do a thing. Said you wanted to do an Obsidian Star character generation session. Yep, absolutely. Oh, when I Heathen says, "Are you saying Angkor?" Nice. This sounds like a cool name, but I was looking for a more true to myth. Oh no. It's Ankur, and where's the here's copy this. Oops, shit. It's not what I meant to do. Anyway, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's not what you're looking for. So yeah. Lastly, just before we get out of here, let me. You know what? Hell, I'll do it. I'll share. Let me share this tab instead. Here's a preview for anyway. Bytopia, a realm between lawful good and neutral good, in which hard work is rewarded. And what I feel in terms of our mission statement would be that, for example, like a member of the Shy Squad was saying, that you could have evil characters travel to this place, but rest assured that it would be difficult for them to connive people to do their work for them and things like that. It's basically a place of fairness. As far as the conflict, the murder killing, the heists, the attacks and things like that, unless characters are playing pretty evil, most characters will be able to navigate their way here. The only difference would be going to the places with the great monsters and the great beasts that they'd have to defeat and fight, to alleviate the pressures that many of the hard workers are doing. The question would remain, why, if you are such hardworking people and you live on this plane of existence, why are you doing all this hard work in your most dangerous region? The answer is it's because it's fulfilling work, right? I also think it would be pretty awesome for characters to build something here. So it might be that the players build a fort, a foundation, a community in and of themselves, and this would be the place to do it, where um, they are welcome to build something here, left alone, because you're going to get very few people who are going to murder kill them. You're going to get very few people to even be deceptive to them, or they're going to get fair prices and fair treatment, and they're not going to be overly, what do I say this? They're not going to feel the fascist part of the goodness, that you must be good and this is how we're good, and everything. Instead, what's going to happen is they're going to be judged on their progress, their good works, and then these people will come up to you and say, "Hey, what do you need? We'll trade with you. We'll work with you fairly," and doing that kind of stuff. Yeah, Drew says that is why Candela Obscura borrows so heavily from Blades in the Dark. Yeah, very much so. It has some of the best components, I think. Um, Clocks, um, a weighted success distribution, meaning that you have far more weighted distribution for success, and then a heavy distribution of within that success of always having a consequence. Um, there's also the idea of not just mixed success and clocks, but uh, one step forward, two steps back, or rather, two steps forward, one step back progression. Um, there's some other things in it in Blades in the Dark, and my brain is oh quantum equipment is another thing. So you don't decide what you're carrying. You just decide what your load is, light, medium, or heavy. And then you have quantum equipment. Flashbacks are another one. So instead of saying, I convinced the guard, you can go up and say, I've already tried to convince the guard. How successful was I? Not how successful am I? That kind of stuff. No prep. The idea of a no prep heist, so you don't have to spend 45 minutes to 3 hours prepping to do a heist. You're actually in the heist already, and then we are using flashbacks, quantum mechanic, and quantum equipment to say, oh, I was already prepared with lock picking tools because I decided to carry a medium load, which gives me 3 items. And so one of those 3 items, I used a grappling hook, and now I have lock picking tools, right? That kind of thing. Or a Mission Impossible living mask or something silly like that, or whatever, if you want to. Shai says, I want to share around your Obsidian stuff to my RPG friends who are anti-D&D and into hard sci-fi stuff. Do you have any general overview video for Obsidian Star? The answer to that would be no, which and the only reason why I didn't have the videos is because I was like, it kind of feels a little strokey, ego stroking, and no one needs to see that unless you pay for it to OnlyFans. And I was just like, so then I was like, yeah, maybe I should put it out there. Yes, Drew says, but of course, some of those ideas in Blades in the Dark are originally from Apocalypse World, which strangely enough, the Apocalypse World mechanics are free, but they're not exactly OGL because they wanted to make it where it wasn't even OGL. You could just take it, and then gaming mechanics you can't even copyright anyway. So so my little short form. This is the Google Doc of Obsidian Star, and bam, let's get to the top of the document here. Oh shit. Anyway, click that so I can page down a little bit at a time, and it won't let me do it. Fuck. All right. I guess it won't let me do it right there. So sorry. Apologize for that. Before we go, Obsidian Star, it's in its Google Doc, it's like 11 pages. I did specifically make it in this font and size and color so that you guys could see it on the screen. I probably have to even change my might even change it to this so people could see it. And it's one of these issues where as I'm writing, I'm also like, okay, what are the fewest words I can use? And I don't know, it's a couple hundred. Yeah. Yeah, dude is not thank you there, Shay. Says dude is not ego stroke, providing a general overview of the basics all in one place is a service. Nobody's going to go through all the sci-fi Fridays to learn about Obsidian Star. You are absolutely right. So probably what I'll do is in my mission objective is to separate the rules. So first of all, I'm going to end up making a link to this and then make the rules separate from the fluff kind of. So someone could just take rules, quick start, hard sci-fi, and get the hell out of there. And if they also want to combine it with the rule system, excuse me, the setting itself, the planets and all that kind of stuff, and my idea of habitats and the random tables to create your own for every one of these locations and all that kind of stuff. And like what are zippers? What are jackets? What are what's the game master called? It's called a spiral arm. What are the characters called? Are they PCs? They're called stars. That kind of thing. Like those. So yeah. So I said, okay, Google Doc is perfect, but a 10-minute talking video would be best for the reading efforts. Yep. And I'm kind of like that. I'm a visual person and I like to hear things. So I picture things in my mind rather than reading a thing. So I do a lot of reading, but I love to hear things and I love to see things. So yeah. When I hear this, I would literally go through all those. I love long form videos. I would suggest making the Sci-Fi Fridays a playlist. Uh, I think I will. Either I like calling PC stars. Yeah, yeah. Not sure what the NPCs are going to be called, but this is listen. Like Drew gave me the suggestion of using excellence instead of damn. I already forgot the word. I deleted, but the idea of this is a thing. Um, so the basics of this, and this is going to be super. Here's the 30-second overview. Um, the NPCs are extras. I want to make it a little. I want to attach a sci-fi flavor to it. So maybe something more like, oh, not twinkles, not shadows, sparks. No. What's a dim star look like? What is another name for it? Anything, something like that. So the basics of the simple is a 2d12 system, very little adding, addition, or subtraction. So it's a 2d12 system rolling 2 dice. You also have 2 numbers for characters, and you're trying to roll high but not above. So if you have one stat that's a 4 and another stat that's 6, you roll both dice and you want to roll high, not above. So you get to decide which die is 4 or less and which die is 6 or less. Sometimes that won't be possible. If you roll a 3 and a 10, that means you only get one success. That in between, that success and failure is what is basically called a conundrum. You have a problem, you have an issue. And so there's problems and solutions. And what's in between a problem and solution is a conundrum. How do you fix the damn thing? So a problem could be unlocking a door. The solution is getting the skills and equipment to unlock the door. The conundrum is you go to unlock the door, but you set off an alarm, or you go to unlock the door and the door has an emergency shut and a second set of doors closes over the first door. And now you got 2 problems. Or your equipment burns out. The door isn't unlocked, but your equipment burns out. Or the door opens, but you burn your equipment out, so you can't use it again. Or the door opens for you, great, but you did set off the alarm. Or you open the door, yes, you go through it, but then a secondary door closes behind you. That you see what I'm saying? Like it's that kind of thing. So you want to roll high, not over. Doubles double. So if you roll doubles, they double, and there's a good reason why you want doubles to double. So if you roll 2 double 4s and your stat is a 6, you rolled below, you rolled a 4, but then it doubles to 8, and you would like that 8. Nat ones always succeed because it's called a singularity system. So despite the fact you're rolling high, double ones always succeed. And basic, how do you explain this? Ones always succeed and 12s always fail. Double ones are galactic success and double 12s are always galactic failures. If you roll double ones, you basically get to decide whatever you want to do. A galactic success double ones is, I jump through the air in slow motion, double guns blazing, and blast away up. Yes, you do all that. So that's the basics of the game. Yeah, neutron stars. I listen, brown dwarves, right? Right. I see where you're going, but I was like, yeah. I think neutron stars are dying stars. Well, then there's also the really cool stars like novas, quasars, and supernovas and things like that. But dwarf stars would be kind of cool, even though they're not all dwarves. But yes, maybe quasars for NPCs. Those are ancient galaxies that are usually very dim since they're so far away. I like quasar. Makes them well. Okay, here we go. Which is why I always say you guys make me look brilliant. Um, I'm going to use a combination of those for categories of NPCs, right? So your very minor NPCs might be the dwarf stars, and then your named NPCs, the NPCs that you can't just murder kill. Certain NPCs. What are we really going to roll dice for you to kill a 0 level human or something? No, you just do whatever you want with those individuals. But some of them are named. Yep, pulsars. Yep. So it's that kind of thing. Lastly, you pick an action, so you have an attribute and an approach. You roll 2d12, pick one die that is high but not over, pick the other die that's not over the approach. That's how this game works. And then it's possible that an action can have both a success and failure. And then we are using, if we're not just using a pass fail, and when we want to use dice, there's a reason why. So if your both skills and weapon damage are exactly the same. So picking a lock might be, giving you an example, picking a lock might be a 3-point problem. Taking out a simple guard might be a 3-point guard. So there's problems and solutions. So picking a lock might be a 3-point problem, and the solution is getting rid of those 3 points. And then a guard is a 3-point problem, getting rid of that guard. Taking out the guard, you might have to do 3 points of damage. So if you are unskilled in something, every success you make is just 1 point. So if you're not skilled in picking locks, you can still pick that lock, but that means 2 successes means you only remove 2 points of that 3-point lock. But if you have a beginner skill, the lowest die you roll is what you use. So if you rolled a 4 and a 6, you use the lower die. That's the 4. If you're an expert, you take the highest skill roll. So if you roll a 4 and 6, and if the 4 succeeds, you use the 6. Or so no, let me take that back. If the 4 is 6, you roll, and the 6 succeeds, you use the 6. So it's a success die. Duh, my brain's is breaking apart. And then lastly, if you are a singular person, meaning like if you are a singular person in a world of trillions, then you add both success die rolls. So if a 4 and a 6 is successful, you add them both together and it's a 10. And it's the same thing for attacks. Unarmed attacks cause 1 point per success, which is 1 or 2 points. A light weapon does the lowest roll. So 4 is your lowest roll. You do 4 points instead of the 6. A medium weapon, you use the highest roll in a success. So if you roll a 4 and a 6 and they're both successful, you take the 6. And then a heavy weapon is if 4 and 6 are both successful, you add them together and it's a 10. Whew. That's it. Yep. And physical attacks, skill use, social interactions from dice rolls subtract from the problem and create a solution when reduced to 0. And when you fail rolls, you actually suffer something called strive, and that's it. And then lastly, you have it didn't move over to. Let me move this. You have 3 attributes, and they are vector, arc, and axis, and those are your attributes. They both represent your physical, mental, and social progression capability. Vector is the most direct and acts first. Arc is balancing, acting fast and being cautious. It acts second. There's no initiative. And then axis is third. It's very cautious and planned, kind of. And the problem is if you use vector, you're going to have a lot more collateral damage. Actually, let me bold this out. Collateral damage. And if you use arc, it's a little less. You'll just have unintended consequences. And then if you use axis, chances are you'll have minor limited side effects. And then each one lasts less. Vector consequences last a lot longer, like a whole day maybe. Arc actions last for maybe about an hour and create a conundrum that can last for about an hour. And then axis actions may probably last until about the end of the scene. And then you have strive, and we're going to go through that. And then you pick 3 approaches, and then there's 6 of them you can pick from, but there's 3 approaches. And it's wild, swift, bold, focused, and careful. You pick 3, and that's what your character does. So you pick, I'm going to use vector and wild. I'm going to use axis and bold. I'm going to use arc and careful. And that's how your character is done. Woo. like I said, Drew, OnlyFans. Why am I not moving? Come on, move back. There we go. Oh man. Yeah. Need to head to bed. Pulsar is just a specific form of a neutron star. Oh, okay. A specific form. Pulsars, quasars, neutrons maybe. I could just use the word neutrons as well. Well, there's electrons, protons, neutrons. No. Pulsar, quasar, brown dwarf. There's brown dwarfs, red giants. Yeah. I think I'm going to do that. Yes, don't mention black holes. Yeah, I need to head to bed. Also, have a nice day. Also, who'd be called black holes? Maybe NPCs that are unstated, unkillable. That's true. That's true. Sucking everything in. Anyway, guys, I've taken too much of your time. Thank you very much. Today is Thanksgiving, so I won't be heading off to work, but I will be letting you go. Your time is very valuable. Thank you very much for spending it here. Not the biggest channel in the world, but I think it probably, bar none, against any other channel out there with a seat of the pants kind of guy sitting here, graybeard, it's probably the most value for your buck, right? Yeah. Death Angel says quasars are at the center of a galaxy. Death Angel says, I just went down that rabbit hole. Whose hole did you go down? How's your hole? Family. How's your hole? Family. I know it's a song, and I just don't know who did it or where it's from. Somebody find that out for me, please. Happy Thanksgiving Day. Plus, enjoy your day off. And seriously, you run a top shelf channel. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I actually, sorry, as a non-YouTuber, like, I actually prefer it this way because I get to. It hurts my brain sometimes when the chat goes too fast and I can't have a conversation. And so I really appreciate that. So I know there's many places. Oh, Google's dark hole. You went down Google's rabbit hole? Well, hey, listen, if your rear end sticking up while your head's down in the hole, that's kind of where Google wants you to be. I mean, really? Anyway, no, but all joking aside, I really, because this is Thanksgiving, so I'm giving thanks. Thank you guys very much. I see my producer. Hey, Sophie, you want to say hi? She doesn't want to say hi. She wants to lay in front of the computer. She wants to be in front of my attention. So I have to go. I have a four-legged family, and I'm probably being loud and waking up my two-legged family as well. Anyway, guys, thank you so very much for being part of the show. I'm not very good at promoting the channel. I don't even get on the Discord, which sucks. I should make a schedule where I do that as a regular, so I can actually have some other perfectly personal and private conversations with you guys. I'm going to figure that out. Probably when the wife goes on her bowling league, maybe I'll do that. Although I need time to write. Shit. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Anyway, your time's valuable. Thank you very much for spending it here. Thank you very much for those who celebrate this day. Give thanks to your family. I understand there's problematic issues about the origins of Thanksgiving, but we are Legion. We have multiples inside of us. We can both challenge ourselves with that, and yet with our new meaning, give thanks for the things that are around us. So guys, have a great one. Fill yourselves with lots of food and drink. Have a great day, and I will see you later. Yeah, Shai says, yeah, self-promotion is an art, but I'll give a shot at promoting Obsidian too. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah. You guys have a great one. I really appreciate it. And I really don't want to start it to do the heavy promotion until I actually have something to show people, from art assets. And I'm not going to sell it. It's just going to be art assets to lay out and that kind of thing, so that people can go, oh, that looks cool. I can grab it immediately. Yeah. Yep, Shai says, yeah, dude, Thanksgiving is universal, giving thanks for the harvest, not just pilgrims. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, sure, we could have an issue with giving thanks for I don't know, diseased blankets or stealing the food of indigenous peoples, so we can go home and convincing them that I have the voice of the gods by convincing them that I made the eclipse that happened instead of predicting it from star charts. But that being said, also Christopher Columbus, who didn't arrive in the United States, actually arrived in the Caribbean islands that are that whole big thing. Right, right. You know what I mean? We can still give thanks for who and what we are. So, guys, have a great one. I'll see you later. Not going to hold you anymore. Peace. Bye.